Okay, this last video today is about square and cubic conversions. So if you're converting something, and that something is a line, so it has just one dimension. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's 4 centimeters long, and you want to convert it to millimeters. Okay, so you have the conversion factor. 4 centimeters, you're going to cancel out centimeters and go to millimeters. You know that 1 centimeter contains 10 millimeters. You're going to cancel out centimeters with centimeters. You're going to do 4 times 10, and you're going to end up with 40 millimeters. Nice and straightforward. Everybody's happy. If we have a square, so this same square, all of these straight lines are 4 units long. Let's make them all 4 centimeters long. So here that's 4 centimeters, and the height is 4 centimeters. The base and the height are both 4 centimeters. If I was to find the area of this square, then I would draw in my grid lines here, and I would count up the squares, and I would say there's 16. Or I would use base times height, or we could say length times width, or we could say, since it's a square, side squared. Doesn't really matter. I like using base times height just because it's the same for all the shapes. It also reminds me that these two need to be at right angles. So we take 4 centimeters and we multiply by 4 centimeters, and we get 4 times 4 is 16, and centimeter times centimeter is centimeter squared. That's great, that's fine, that's the area. But what if I want the area in millimeters? Well, now I need to rewrite. I need to redo this. 4 centimeters is the same as, I just did the conversion right there, 40 millimeters. So this one is also 40 millimeters. So if I do the area in millimeters, it's still base times height. And we're just using the units in millimeters now. So 40 millimeters times 40 millimeters. And 40 times 40 is not 16 anymore, but it's 1600. And the unit's not centimeters squared, it's millimeters squared. 16 square centimeters and 1600 square millimeters are the same as each other. The way we looked at this in the metric conversions video was we said that the square means do the conversion twice. So remember, the conversion between centimeter and millimeter would be to take our number and move that decimal one place. But since it's a square unit, so from centimeter to millimeter, that's one step apart in our metric conversions. To do it twice, we would just move the decimal one more spot and fill in a 0, 1600. That's two ways to look at it. One, by just doing the conversion twice. And secondly, by converting each of the dimensions, so base and height in this case. If we were to go over to our third example here, a cube, still all of these are the same. They're all 4 centimeters long. If I wanted to do them in not centimeters, but millimeters, that's okay. All of these lines with the blue tick on them are all the same. This is a cube. All the dimensions are the same. If I were to find the volume of this cube, it would be length times width times height, or since it's a cube, we could just say side cubed, but I'm going to do length times width times height, or base times height times width, or whatever. They're all the same. So in centimeters, it'd be 4 centimeters times 4 centimeters times 4 centimeters. And 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Centimeters times centimeters times centimeters is centimeter cubed. If I were to do the same thing in millimeters, I would use 40 millimeters times 40 millimeters times 40 millimeters. Multiply, multiply, that's what those are supposed to be. And 40 times 40 times 40, or 40 cubed, is not 64, but 64,000. And the unit is cubic millimeters. So 64 cubic centimeters and 64,000 cubic millimeters are the same as each other. Our other way of looking at that from before was, for cubic conversions, do the conversion 3 times. So from 64 centimeters to millimeters, That's one step. But then I have to do that conversion 2 times, 3 times. I'm moving the decimal over 1, 2, 3 places and filling in the blanks with 0 to get 64,000. And then making sure that I write in my new unit. So 2 different ways to look at it. One way is to do the conversion however many times the exponent tells you to. If it's for a square unit, you do the conversion twice. If it's for a cubic unit, you do the conversion 3 times. And the other way is to think about, what if you were finding area or volume of a shape? You'd have to remember to convert all 3 sides in the volume, or all 2 sides in the area, or just one if it was length. So this works really well for length, but for anything else, if it's cubic, anything that's not easily picturable, then just remember the rule that if you're making a conversion with a square or a cubic unit, do the linear conversion that many times, 2 times or 3 times.